Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. I'm in an awkward position today in this video, and I'm going to explain why that is. But first, let me introduce you to the pipe of the video. This is the 2024 Perkins Pipes pipe from a Catholic Pipe Company. The cross that my son designed, you've seen this one many, many times, and the Perkins Pipes logo on the bottom of the bowl. Why am I in an awkward position? And if I'm in an awkward position, why am I even doing this video? You're going to find out. As always, folks, let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. I'm in an awkward position because, as longtime watchers of this channel know, several months ago, earlier in 2025, my most recent book came out, The Golden Waffle Principle, Finding Meaning in Teaching. Matter of fact, Caleb at Catholic Pipe Company sent me a handcrafted pipe that has this logo on it, and oh, it is gorgeous. You've seen it in some other videos. Love that pipe. And you say, well, what's so awkward about that? Well, what's awkward is I'm not going to be talking about this book. I'm going to be talking about a different education book, somebody else's book on education, and I hope my publisher will be okay with that. In fact, if you want to get this, you can go ahead and hop onto Amazon.com and get your copy today. But I'm not going to talk about my own book. So I'm talking about, it's not exactly a rival book, but what makes it so awkward is this may be the best book on education I have ever read. The Risk of Education. And the subtitle is Discovering Our Ultimate Destiny by Luigi Giussani. Giussani was a Catholic priest, educator, theologian, lived from 1922 until 2005. This was recommended for reading over the summer of 2025 by the priest at the school where I teach. I now teach at a Catholic high school, and he recommended this book. Friends, I emptied an entire highlighter in this little book. Page after page after page. Some pages, there's one page. This may be the only page in the book that does not have any highlighting in it. Some of the pages have almost more highlighting than not highlighting. And there are margin notes. I got margin notes in here. And stars. Oh, this one just had 4 stars in it. It is there's no other way to put it. This describes my life. This describes how I have taught for 35 years. Secondary and university levels, suburban, urban, private and public. Giussani told my story. We never met, but he told my story. So I'm going to do a few videos. I'm not going to do... If I did a video on every one of these passages, my channel would turn into something else entirely. And maybe I should. Maybe I should do a separate channel just on Luigi Giussani. I cannot recommend this book highly enough. And let me be very clear here. Yes, there are Christian themes in this. Christian themes that undergird what he says. It couldn't be otherwise given who he is, and I would agree that those Christian themes underline the truth of what he says about education. Now, a couple of these videos I'm going to give you, there's nothing explicitly Christian in what he says. There's plenty in what's going to be the third video that I do about this. So you say, Steve, what are you raving about? Well, let's jump in to, we can write it here. Now, how about we get to the right page? Here we go. Here we go. This is from page 44. And it's a slender little book. I mean, you can see, the whole book is only, not counting the notes, it's under 100 pages. It's only 88 pages long. Now, I'm going to give you when he's writing this. He wrote this in, let's see. Well, this one came out in 2019. Now, he died in 2005. I apologize. I don't know this off the top of my head. 1995. He wrote it in 1995. And on page 44, he writes this. It is strange that in the allegedly perfect kind of school, the teaching could almost be done by a tape player. We'll talk about the now anachronistic reference to a tape player. It is strange that in the allegedly perfect kind of school, the teaching could almost be done by a tape player. The most typically human thing about the teacher-pupil relationship is removed. The specifically human contribution, the genius of the master. This is relevant today. We're talking about AI education. Since, Sesame Street, 1960s, 1970s, the rise of public broadcasting television, 3-2-1 Contact, The Electric Company, all those kinds of shows. It feels like there's been an increasing tendency to, I don't want to say farm out, but to use pre-recorded other people's stuff, have kids watch a video, watch a movie. Back in the days, it might have been slides or a film strip, right? Remember those? Some of you remember film strips. Now it's AI and the internet. And he says it's strange that in the allegedly perfect kind of school, there are schools who love to tout themselves as being one-to-one schools. And what that means is, if you ever hear that phrase, or your children, your grandchildren, or whoever uses that phrase, what that means is, through the use of technology, right? In a traditional classroom, you got one teacher and we'll say 25 students. It's just 1 to 25. 25 to 1. Well, with technology and laptops, it can be 1-to-1. We can find a way really to personalize and individualize education, and sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. And even in 95, he was saying, in the allegedly perfect kind of school, this is what you get. Could almost be done by a tape player. The most typical thing, or typically human thing, about the teacher-pupil relationship is removed. Of course, that's the human. That's the human. I talk about this all the time. I talk about it in my book. That education is a shared journey of discovery. That it is a distinctly human enterprise. These are phrases I use all the time in writing and talks and so forth. It's a distinctly human enterprise. And he says what you're removing is the specifically human contribution, the genius of the master. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means a lot more than you might think. Genius is not just Einstein. Right? We use that term, he's a real Einstein, he's a genius. He's really, really smart. Genius, the Latin word, spelled the same way, Genius, genius, indicated something of a guardian spirit in ancient Roman polytheistic belief. Something of the guardian spirit for a man. There was a different one for women called the Juno. And we often refer to the genius loci, or the genius of the place. What does that mean? Well, there's kind of a spirit. And let's just be honest, some places just seem to be better for thinking and creativity and learning. My own backyard seems to be a particularly nice place for videos like this. And he says if you make it all mechanical, or you make it all, in our day, digital, internet-based, AI, you've taken away the genius, you've taken away the genius, you've taken away the spirit, and then he specifically says the spirit of the master. Now, he's using that term in a very particular way. Those in the United States, we don't use that word much anymore to indicate a teacher. We used to. Places in England and Europe, I think, still do. And even in the United States, in certain private schools, we're used to the term headmaster as the equivalent to a public school principal. A master is the master of a subject, the teacher. The Latin word is magister, M-A-G-I-S-T-E-R. It's where we get the word magisterial, in the Catholic Church, magisterium. Simply drop the G and the I, and you've got the English word master, okay? And I would agree with Giussani. He doesn't say it explicitly here, but it's clearly implied. The ideal school does not remove the genius of the master. The ideal school does not remove the spirit, the intellectual spirit, yes, the spiritual spirit as well, of the teacher, the magister, the school master. No, I'm not trying to just bash on AI and technology, and we talked about that before on this channel. But education is a distinctly human enterprise, and I agree with him. That's what's core, that's what's essential. And I'd invite you to think about who are some of the masters, real masters of the subject. You may have had a masterful third grade teacher who really knew how to teach the multiplication tables. You may have had a real master as a sophomore in high school learning chemistry. You may have had a real master of the subject when you were at the university level. Or perhaps if you apprenticed in one of the trades, you may have had a real magister in the trades. Now, here's a challenge. And I don't know, I may not even ask a question today. I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Do you want to see the education in your community farmed out? I am going to use the word now, or the phrase, farmed out. Do you want to see it farmed out to AI? Do you want to see it farmed out to that which is not human? Or do you think that the genius magistri, the genius of the master, is important in that human-to-human interaction in the classroom? If you think that is important, then friends, I encourage you to get involved. What if some local school board talking with your sons and your daughters if they are older and have children of their own? If you're a grandparent or an aunt and uncle, get involved. Because whether it's public or private, it really doesn't matter. Whether it's public or private, schools are educating our citizenry. And if you don't like what you see, you've got to get involved and be a part of that. And really, I would say, bring us back to what we once were. Are we going to get rid of technology? No. Should we get rid of technology? Absolutely not. Of course not. We need it. It's part of who we are today. But don't forget the genius of the master. Folks, as Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I like to say in Latin, Parva ago ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.